to the Not So Late Show. We've got a great show in store for you tonight with special guest Andy Merrill. Plus, a musical performance from Brandyn. But first, please welcome your host, Crypto Kyle.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Not So Late Show. Thank you for being here. If this is your second time, well, you've been here for every episode because this is only the second episode and you are real ones, so we appreciate you. Absolutely crazy week last week. Couldn't ask for a better turnout for the live show, as well as all of you tuning in form of downloading the podcast. We succeeded 100 downloads, which is basically, almost quad the amount of a standard top 50% performing podcast in the first week. So not to get too technical for you, I'm a little nerdy, but definitely just pumped for how that went.
Amazing.
So thank you again. And I hope that you guys are ready for tonight's show. We have a doozy for you, but the Oscars, man, John, the Oscars, it's all you can see on TV right now.
You know I
it's
love
absolutely
the Oscars.
Crazy. I know you do. You come from that scene, man, and it's just something that you admire, appreciate, and enjoy. All the quirkiness and all the,
every year,
of course, the recognition. Yeah, every year you're always talking about it. Oscar nominations came out this week. Some killer movies on that list. We have, of course, The Fabelmans, Top Gun, Elvis, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Loved that movie. And we got Jimmy Kimmel. He's hosting this year.
Yeah, man. Hey, $25 says he gets a slap from Matt Damon. What do you think?
That is highly, highly possible that somebody will slap Jimmy Kimmel. And if it's going to be somebody, I'd say Matt Damon's probably top of that list. So $25, you're on. Juan, how about you? You got $25? He said the band's ends. You got $25 times 21. That's quite the that's like the whole staff right there. That's quite the pot,
our budget.
For sure.
So
yeah. Now, I went and saw that movie that you were raving about a couple weeks back.
Oh.
Yeah, that Nothing, Nowhere, Never at All.
What? Are you talking about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once?
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to talk to you about it because I thought usually you have pretty good recommendations, but after staring at a blank screen for an hour, I walked out of the theater pretty discouraged. Anyways, moving on. Avatar. I don't know if you got to see that yet, but what a crazy movie. Of course, that's up for all kinds of awards. So many years in the making. James Cameron, he is one heck of an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about some of the weird quirks and habits that this guy has. You talk about people getting immersed in a role or immersed in a character for a movie, but when he's filming, he really goes all out. For Titanic, before he got into the depths of that, he got into the depths of the ocean, literally, to check out the wreckage. And that's a little creepy, but he made a pretty dang good movie, and it was the top performing movie for years until Avatar came out. Now, of course, for the sequel, he spent many years just submerged underwater because he has some sort of obsession, looking underwater and just checking out the reefs and all these different things. He has all these efforts in the ocean. So, I got to say I'm a little worried for Daniel Day-Lewis because if they make a movie about James Cameron, Daniel Day-Lewis is going to get it. He's going to get the role. Bar none. Yeah. He's the top pick. But what's going to happen is he's going to spend the next 10 to 12 years underwater. He's probably going to film 2 to 3 Avatar movies, and he's going to be 20 years too old for the role by the time they film the movie. So they'll do the makeup and everything, but I just don't know if that's healthy. I really worry about him. He's one of the greats.
Yeah, and Daniel Day, he'll definitely push new depths with that. So
absolutely. All right. Of course, we have the Whale. Real happy to see Brendan Fraser back on top. We're wishing him well.
Oh yeah,
man. Do you notice I said his name right?
I had no idea that it was Fraser. I've been saying Frazier all this time, and
we all have.
like the TV therapist, and I just honestly thought they were the same guy.
you thought Kelsey Grammer and Encino Man were the same guy.
Frazier. Once I understood that difference, it was like it clicked. And yeah, now I see it's kind of weird that I thought they were the same guy.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser was great as the Beast in the X-Men series, for sure. But anyways, yeah, it's obviously you and I are huge fans of Brendan, and this movie just looks incredible. The cast with
so happy to see him winning.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to see this guy get his flowers and, of course, get what's due. He's got a great talent, and we just like seeing good guys win in Hollywood for sure. But you see all these, articles, clickbait articles to get, traffic to websites. And I just saw one the other day. It said Brandon didn't talk to The Rock for a long time. Did you see that?
Wow. Yeah, I did. I hate to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'd be pretty mad too if somebody stole the center to the journey to the center of the, what's that movie called? Journey to the center of the something.
Journey to the center of the earth.
There you go. Journey to the center of the earth from me. I'd be pretty upset too, I guess. All love to The Rock. We love Dwayne. Super good human guy, from what I could tell. I mean, as best as my relationship with Dwayne goes, seems like a stand-up citizen. But his last movie, even though it didn't do so well, man. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but Black Eye was pretty rough.
You mean Black Adam?
Yeah, Black Adam. What did I say?
You said Black Eye.
Black guy? I thought he was Samoan.
All right.
I was so confused. But what I really want to talk about is this George Santos guy. He has been all over the news. People won't stop hating on this guy. I had to know what was up. I said, Carl, I know you used to do some horse track bookkeeping up in the New York area. I need you to tell me about the George Santos guy. He says, Carl, I got a number for you. So
wow, Carl had a connection to George Santos for us.
Carl knows everybody. It's insane.
He's really just the best in the business.
He really is. So, I had Carl reach out. We got on the phone with him, and it was just, I was totally impressed. Beforehand, I thought, okay, this guy, we're going to expose this guy. This guy's a total idiot. But he was really forthcoming, and he told us all sorts of things that were pretty amazing, to be honest. And I asked him, I said, can we do like a bit or something? Can we do like a quick segment, just 5 things that people don't know about George Santos? He said, absolutely. Wow. So these were the 5 things. He said he's not the one wearing hockey pants.
Huh.
Yeah, you're like I'm not the one wearing hockey pants.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. So he trained with Carl Winslow at the police academy. Not the movie, the real place.
Nice.
Yeah. He wrote the pilot for Friends after a one-night stand with Lisa Kudrow.
Wow, that's incredible.
Sounds like a wild time.
Wild night.
He was the inspiration for Charlie Sheen's character in Apocalypse Now.
Powerful.
Yeah. All pretty amazing things. But the thing that really blew me away the most was when Anthony Anderson and ABC were struggling to name a show that they were working on. They were just having a hard time. Anthony Anderson, he's leaning towards calling the show Black. And George Santos says, how about Black-ish?
Wow.
And the rest is history.
And that's a great show. So who knows where we'd be. That is just so interesting because, like you said, all you hear is just negative. But, sometimes all you got to do is ask a guy and they'll tell you everything you need to know.
You just got to get to know him. All right. So last but not least, did you see the latest? Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, Larsa, and Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, are dating. Man, talk about a slam dunk relationship. It is everywhere. It is on Instagram. It is on Twitter, TikTok. It is taking the world by storm. Man, For once, it looks like a Jordan boxed out a Pippen for a rebound. But,
oh my God.
Moving on. Oh, 1 second. Carl's calling me in the in-ear. Yep. What's that? All right. Looks like we got breaking news. Going over to John for the latest.
Okay, so some of you might have heard this week we had a giant iceberg break off down in Antarctica. Yeah, pretty crazy. This ice chunk is about 600 square miles, making it roughly the size of the city of London. And it's a calving event, as they call it. And I'm being told that it is a natural occurrence that they've been expecting. But we had some more questions about this, so we decided that we would go to our correspondent live from the ice chunk. Fred, we got Fred the Front Page Anderson.
Hey John, it's me, Fred the Front Page Anderson. I'm live here in Antarctica, and I'm at the base of the dome, John. Yes, you heard correct. I am at the base of the dome. It's a wonderful sight. I wish you could see it, but I'm pretty sure there's pictures online.
The base of the... Okay. Well, anyway, it must be freezing cold down there, huh? You're on top of an iceberg. You're in the Southern Ocean. Are you wearing anything interesting, any special cold weather gear?
Well, as you may know, John, it is summertime here in Antarctica right now, so I am wearing specialized gear. I have my favorite Hawaiian shirt, my favorite shorts, and a pair of ski boots to keep my feet warm, because as you and the viewers at home know, keep your feet warm, keep the rest of your body warm. That's science,
interesting.
John.
I hadn't thought that it was summer. Yeah, your feet. Glad your feet are warm, huh? I was picturing you out there in a heavy parka or something, but summer. I love a good Hawaiian shirt. So, how about that? The iceberg, is it moving pretty fast, or what are we? How are we doing?
Well, John, just some more science for you here. All right, due to the pull, the gravitational pull of the North Pole, we are moving toward the North Pole, and scientifically we will move past and around the North Pole in a sweeping action, and then we will be swing out like a slingshot across the planet. I don't know where we're going to land, but that's the science behind what's happening right now.
I'm not sure that's how that works, but okay. Let's move on to a question I've been thinking about. We know how wide this thing is, but how thick is it? Is it pretty thick down there?
John, good question. It is thicker than a Snicker.
I'm assuming that's a scientific term?
That's a scientific term, John.
Well, I want to go into my favorite, the one that I've been wanting to ask the most, and that's all the wildlife. I've been dying to see a penguin pretty much since I was a kid, and it must be really cool to be down there and just see that natural environment.
Penguins, John? I haven't seen any penguins or any other wildlife since I got here. But check this out, John. You'll be interested to know that there is a Figue kitchen over here, and they have the most tender, the most amazing sesame chicken that you'll ever taste. Really got to come out and visit. I mean, this is superb dining.
Wow. Okay, something a little odd with that, but hey, glad to hear that you're staying well fed down there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John. All right, I just want to say, I'm Fred, the Front Page Anderson, and I'm live from the firmament.
All right, well, it looks like we lost connection there. Yeah, it was a little weird, so let's go ahead and keep the show going. And now I'd like to welcome our first guest of the evening, the voice of the legendary Brak from the Brak Show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and Cartoon Planets. My guest, Andy Merrill. Andy, sir, thank you for being here. Of course, we've been talking on the this beautiful stage we have here.
Look at it. Look,
it's so nice. When putting our show together, that we had a very precise list of people we wanted to talk to, and you were at the top of that list. And it's because you created a space that was and created a show. And as a kid, I didn't know that you were a producer or writer. I just knew you were these many voices, and allowed me to be able to be goofy and be myself and laugh at other people doing the same thing, which a lot of people found annoying, but I enjoyed. So being a big fan of late night television, of course, the huge part of that has been Cartoon Planet, which I almost forgot existed. I merged that show into Coast to Coast and the Brak Show, not realizing the importance of that actual show.
It all kind of gets lost in there. Yeah. I was actually at CNN working in satellite feeds where we had to take in all of the stuff from the reporters so the editors could put their packaging and stuff together. So we could pretty much access anything we wanted. It was Johnny Carson's last week, followed by, I want to say Jay Leno started just right up where Johnny Carson left. I'm probably wrong on that, but I remember seeing Johnny's last week, and I remember seeing Jay Leno's first week. But yeah, I grew up on Johnny Carson, followed by the craziest David Letterman late night with David Letterman on NBC was pretty groundbreaking and pretty amazing. So that was kind of a big influence on me, along with the Muppets and stuff like that. So I think the feel of Coast to Coast basically came from late night with David Letterman, the NBC version, because that was the craziest one. That was the one with stupid pet tricks and all that other stuff. So,
it was so wacky.
I wouldn't call myself creator of Coast to Coast. I always call myself co-creator because, Khaki, Jones, and Lazo had something to do with it too. I always try and give credit where credit's due when other people wouldn't have done it.
I sense
you know who you are.
Right. In my mind, there's no way anybody could not know those three shows. Whenever I mentioned Brak to somebody, they're like, oh man, that was the best show ever. And we always talk about our favorite scenes. A lot of people don't realize that these characters existed prior to this show in a much different format, in a very, a superhero.
They were 6-minute cartoons.
Yeah, they're only 6 minutes.
6-minute action cartoons. Yeah. The Space Ghost was originally Space Ghost Dino Boy. Space Ghost was on the air like 2 months before I was born. So I kind of grew up with Space Ghost. So there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So there were 2 Space Ghost cartoons with a Dino Boy cartoon in the middle.
And the caveman. There was the caveman guy, remember?
That was Dino Boy.
And then there was like the Space Kids.
Oh, that was Mighty Mytor was with Birdman, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was Birdman Galaxy Trio. Mighty Mytor was with somebody else.
One of those guys.
I can't remember. It was no. There was Birdman Galaxy Trio. There was Space Ghost Dino Boy, and then there was Moby Dick and Mighty Mytor. Moby Dick was the big white whale, and had these little
never heard of them
kid sidekicks that rode around on dolphins. It was stupid.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember that. I remember the dolphins.
Imagine if we went with Moby Dick instead of.
Oh man, would you have been up to the role
of Moby Dick? He didn't speak. He just made big whale noises.
Just made his presence known.
And all the kids were like, "Gee whiz!" Go ahead. Sorry.
Brak being a nemesis of Space Ghost. Obviously, we talked a little bit about how the show was inspired, but where did I remember seeing a documentary a long time ago, maybe on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim, but it's lost in the interweb files somewhere. But where did the inspiration come? Was it simply owning IP rights to characters that you could utilize? What inspired you to use particularly Space Ghost, Brak, and Zorak?
We figured that Turner owned Hanna-Barbera outright, which I don't know if it was completely true, but we thought we could do anything we wanted to with the Hanna-Barbera characters since Turner owned the library. So, eventually it branched out in Adult Swim, and Michael Aline did Harvey Birdman, and Adam and Matt did C-Lab 2021. But we figured we had kind of carte blanche with everything Space Ghost. So we we took the cartoon and cut it up, and I originally did the pilot for the show to sell, and it was just a simple editing of Space Ghost's mouth movements and stuff, to me doing the voice and my dog playing with her squeak toy. I'm sorry.
There's no dogs allowed
anyway,
on this stage. Come on. Okay.
I originally did the pilot, which was basically me making Space Ghost's mouth move to something that I recorded, and some kind of Showbiz Tonight from CNN. I used an interview of Denzel Washington, and kind of just threw it together, and that's what sold the show to Bob Seibert and at Hanna-Barbera. He was like, "Go ahead, do whatever." So we took the cartoon episodes to post-production place and had them just kind of rotoscope out Space Ghost, and so that was, how the show was born, basically. We found through doing all the new animation and stuff that one of the new animators was a young guy, Clay Croker, who could do Zorak's voice, who we were like, once we heard it, it was like, yes, you do Zorak. And so Zorak was basically, I feel like Zorak was the first one we cast just because he sounded exactly like Zorak. And then we were going to try and get Gary Owen to be Space Ghost, but he just couldn't get it. He didn't get what we were doing. So it was hard to direct him. So we got George Lowe. He had kind of more of this Letterman-esque type of delivery. It went on from there. Clay did Moltar also. So that's how we started the show. And actually, Clay was the original voices of Brak and Sisto also in that first episode. I think the voice that I did in that first episode was just the announcer. I did an announcer for
the intro.
For some record album or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't do Brak until later when we did the Christmas show that was about introducing cartoons, or what a cartoon to Cartoon Network, and the animators that had won the animation contest, which was Craig McCracken and Gendy Tartakovsky, amongst others. And we did a whole show around them. I'm getting this all wrong. No.
They don't know.
That. I don't know anything.
Don't know.
I'm just making shit up. No, Brak and the Council of Doom came in when we did a Christmas episode. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
The cartoon thing came later, and the Council of Doom was part of that. They were all judges. That was, I think, Brak's second appearance on Coast to Coast. The first one was the Christmas thing, where we just had everybody sing Christmas songs. And we had the Council of Doom come in and do the 12 Days of Christmas. And Brak was the first day of Christmas was "Hi, my name is Brak." And they liked how I did that in the writer's room. And so that's how I became Brak.
Oh, that's awesome, man. George, he definitely had a delivery of a late night host, but he still had that tonality of the original Space Ghost. Blew my mind a little bit that it wasn't the same person.
You'd think Gary would have been able to do that because he was, he was the announcer in the original Laugh-In and all this other stuff. So he had that sense of humor. You'd think he would have caught on to that really quickly, but George just had that Letterman-esque sense to him. Even in the first few episodes when he was just sounded like Space Ghost had to stick up his butt in the first few episodes because we were just kind of sowing our oats at that point. We didn't really know how to write the comedy back then.
Now, with the voice for Brak, obviously that was a big departure from the original, original voice actor. I think it was Key Luke. Yeah, but he kind of had that old time Mid-Atlantic accent almost for the character.
It was very very straight. You know, he did a lot of Hanna-Barbera voices too. He was the original Brak. It was very much a straightforward villain voice. And I guess, you know, we wanted to make him stupid for some reason. I think once we got into doing Cartoon Planet, I think just to have a stupid character, because we couldn't just have another villain come on because you had Zorak already be mean to Space Ghost. It just was more fun to have somebody like really idiotic and stupid that, you know, people kind of felt sorry for. Brak is basically me anyway. You know, I always put myself into the characters I do. Brak is mostly just me because I'm just a goofy person. And on the other hand, Oglethorpe is me just, you know, when I want to be mean. So
two very different characters. My favorite, that's what I was going to ask you later on, but while we're there, my favorite skit is Driving Down Highway 40. So what's your favorite?
You know what? It's funny. I don't really have one, and I've been doing a lot more conventions. So people keep coming in and saying, sing this obscure song you recorded once 20 years ago. I'm like, okay, don't remember that song. Someone even like showed me a song. I was like, is that mine? What did I do? Actually, you know what? My favorite thing was we revived Cartoon Planet in 2012. And I just wrote this segment about Brak coming in and laughing. And then you hear this little tiny laugh behind Brak. And Zorak's like, what are you doing? And Brak comes in and shows that he's cloned himself and Zorak. And at the end, it's revealed that he cloned Space Ghost too. I had my 6-year-old daughter at the time come in and record Brak and Zorak and Space Ghost. And she did like a really good job of it. And so we recorded a bunch of stuff between Brak and his Brak clone. Some of it's, you got to really dig to look for it on YouTube, but it's there. But she did a really good Brak when she was 6. That was about 10 years ago. But that wasn't from the original stuff. I don't really remember too much of the original Cartoon Planet stuff, especially just because a lot of it was ad lib. There's a couple that I really like. The one where we kill Zorak and eat him throughout the whole episode. There's the rap episode. Also, there's also the time travel episode. I forget what all these episodes are called. I think Psych Oklahoma. Not that it was the greatest show in the world, but it was fun to write psycho lyrics to Oklahoma songs. And on top of that, somebody else wrote the one that had George Takei in it. So to like work with George Takei was an amazing thing. To hear him like want an explanation of a line, he would always start with, "Now, Andy," and I would always just get all giddy, like, he said my name. Oh my, Andy. It says here, do you want me to speak real Japanese here? Yes, I do. I totally want you to translate everything there.
Yeah, to be able to, interact with, in the same way I feel interacting with somebody who has been a big part of your life. It's always, hopefully an honor.
Even directing Weird Al was fun. And I know Al and I, have hung out every once in a while. And that was pretty great. I did an album. I did a song on an album a couple years ago for Dr. Demento, who's always been a big influence on me. And they asked if I wanted to do some Brak elements interacting with Dr. Demento. And I was like, sure, that would be great. I can also sing. So I recorded a song for the album. It was Suicidal Tendencies Institutionalized, which is an impossible song to do live. But I played everything on my ukulele and concertina and a jaw harp and a kazoo and all this other weird instruments. And so we recorded that for the album. But then I recorded these segments interacting with Dr. Demento. And they sent me the song and sent me the outro where Dr. Demento says, "That was Andy Merrill as Brak." And my ex-wife, when she was watching me when I heard that for the first time, and said that just my whole face just like changed when I heard Dr. Demento say my name for the first time. That was just like crazy. And then later on, I did an album signing with him and actually drove him to his house. And that was an amazing thing for me also, to spend like 45 minutes in a car, just me and him just talking, and then going and seeing his record collection and all of that. That was just kind of a Zen moment for me.
Yeah, that's incredible.
She's on my pillow. Get off my pillow. Get off.
Man.
Get off. God, that dog.
No, that's incredible. The what was I just thinking of? Oh, I just recently interviewed someone who does many things like you, voice acting as well as, producing, and the same as you, always, jumping into there. Now I know this voice. I either read or saw an interview a few years back where you said that was kind of a voice that's been with you in some shape or form since you were. Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah. Younger. I used to do puppets when I was younger. It was just a voice my friend and I used to do to each other in high school. My friend talk like that every once in a while. And I know spending Christmas with my nephew, they started talking, not because of me,
right.
But I just noticed, I guess, a fan trait or something. But okay. I noticed they do that now.
It's like the bloodline goofy.
Yeah, the goofy voice. And the goofy voice came for Brak, basically came more out of necessity to last in record sessions.
Okay.
Because originally his voice was just screaming in monotone. So I just kind of made him a little more stupid like that. And so more conversational, so I could last longer in the record session. And I just did a record session of Brak not too long ago for something that I put out on Facebook after I did it, but then my agent was like, "Take that down. They're not supposed to know yet."
Oh, so no.
It was all over. It was all over the internet fans for a while, but hopefully they've all kind of like forgotten what it was. But I just recorded Brak. I'm not allowed to say.
There's no other voice like it.
Well, I've used it in a kind of other form. I was almost on a show that was going to be greenlit for either Disney Channel or Disney XD, with Sam Richardson was the main character, and he's been in Veep and a bunch of like Paul Feig movies and stuff like that. I'm
a big fan of his, actually.
And I was basically, I was going to be Sam's sidekick. I actually met him once at one of the recordings. It was a show called Club Sandwich, and he was the lead character, and I was this brackish, stupid, sidekick. I was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and my name was Jelly Lips or something. It was nearly greenlit by Disney, and I would go through and see people I knew from Cartoon Network at Disney. I would go visit them. They would introduce me to their friends as Jelly Lips, and everybody would be like, "Oh, that's so cool! Oh, you're so funny!" and all this stuff. And oh, he's also Brak. Oh, yeah, that's good too. But they had all seen the show, and I had never seen the show. I still haven't. And so everybody was like so excited about the show, and I thought, this is gonna be great. And some other show got greenlit instead, and it just crushed all of us. It was created by one of my friends from Cartoon Network that worked with Craig McCracken a lot. Craig Lewis created it, and it went through hell. So I kind of came in through like phase 2, and I think I was the substitute Jelly Lips. I think I came in and just kind of re-energized the character and just made him the stupid little person he was. Yeah, his catchphrase was "Hawaii." He was a lot more innocent than Brak, even if you can think of that. But yeah, he was a prominent role in that. It would have been great too. So
yeah,
I would have loved the Disney residuals.
Oh, for fans of Brak, what could you tell them Brak is up to on the day-to-day?
I've been doing a lot more conventions. So Dana Snyder got me on this GalaxyCon circuit, which is pretty cool because I've been doing a lot of panels with Dana. Dana and I have never really worked together before, but the last convention we did like all of our panels together, and just the chemistry between us just kind of clicked, and we did some like really funny stuff together. We did one panel where it was regularly all of his panels that he normally did. One was just to talk to the audience. So I joined him on that, and that went pretty well. So I've been doing that. I started my own podcast because I wanted to kick myself in the butt, and I wanted to start writing and finish what I was writing. So I need to finish it and put it out last of the 4-parter I have. I've just started writing stories. I call the podcast Story Time for the Insane. I started writing a story about, what if the spirits of Christmas screwed up and went to the wrong person. But that storyline has kind of changed into more of a redemption story for the present Marley guy, trying to make it not sound like that Apple thing with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, but it's more of a Marley redemption story.
Okay.
But it's not Jacob Marley. It's the spirits are after a new asshole. They have to choose the asshole of the year to go and haunt every Christmas Eve. And so they base it on letters that they get from hell. And so they realize that this person who is the biggest asshole in the world, his secondary asshole isn't the asshole that heaven thought he was. So he's really kind of in hell for no reason. So kind of evolving into that. So I need to write the rest of it, record it, and put that out so I can write more stories. I'm trying to make it so it's only like one storyline per episode.
Okay.
But since I was doing Christmas, I love Christmas Carol. It's kind of turned into this long novella. So yeah. I'm on like chapter 8 now, I think. I'm trying to limit it to like 11 chapters and then like kind of a epilogue at the end. And then I'll move on to like stupid stories. So we'll see where that goes. I'm trying to put it out like maybe once every week and a half, 2 weeks. So I'm kind of late on the finishing of this one. So obviously, because it's past Christmas, but I had a lot that was going on through Christmas. So
yeah, now
that I'm back and I'm trying to get well, I'll probably write the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, it's pretty profane. The spirit of Christmas yet to come likes to swear a lot. Mm. And you'll see that. And there's no getting by explaining the jobs of the different spirits of Christmas without using the word asshole over and over and over again. So like maybe chapter 3 is very, I would say listen to it, ignore chapter 2 because it's about, don't ignore it. Just listen to it.
Okay.
The first installment is about 4 chapters. The second one is about, second and third are both about 3 each. So
okay,
but the first one's the longest. So
yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, I'm excited to hear it.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear them. Well, thanks, Andy, for being here. Appreciate you coming on the show. what a legendary guest to have on here. The creator of so many good things and so many more things to come. Don't forget to check him out. His podcast, Storytime for the Insane. Follow him on Twitter and on Instagram, Merrill2. And leave it in the podcast notes, the link, so you can check him out and make sure that you're following everything that he's doing. One of the, amazing voices of so many catalogs of characters from, I believe to be the golden era of Adult Swim, the precursor to Adult Swim, and even somebody in Adventure Time, which as soon as I heard you talk, I said, I know who that is. I'm pretty sure. I pride myself in finding people. So yeah, I was real excited to hear you. But no, it's been good having you here, man, and an absolute honor. Hope you feel better, and would love to talk to you again. Yeah. Of course, we'll connect on the back end. Plan some things up.
Okay, man, that sounds good.
I'd like to welcome to the show for the first time ever, Brandyn Burnette.
Early in the morning, I hear the birds chirping. The sun is still shining, the world is still turning. Feel the good vibrations, it's a new sensation. My soul's on vacation, no expectation. And as soon as I open my eyes wide, I see the light, I don't see any downside. I step outside, all I see is these blue skies. It's a great day to be alive, yeah. And when the rain falls, I'm grateful for the water. I'm finally feeling clean. I'll stop and step right in it. My grass is always green. The best is yet to come now, and that's the greatest thing. I'm grateful for the water. I'm finally feeling clean. I know, you know that everything will be alright. I know, you know that everything will be alright. I know I'm good 'cause everything is getting right. I know, you know that everything will be alright. A couple of angels, I didn't know they were real, but it's a miracle. I'm feeling like I'm over the hill, and the view from up here is a beautiful one. Like I'm skipping on these clouds, playing hoops with the sun. I'm cruising altitude, 30,000 feet in the air. I'm flying first class, fall asleep, I'm already there. And I don't know the destination, but I'm going different places. Chilling on this island in the sky and saying my graces. Found my own oasis, I'm in a great location. Things are in rotation, I feel amazing. And when the rain falls, I'm grateful for the water. I'm finally feeling clean. I'll stop and step right in it. My grass is always green. The best is yet to come now, and that's the greatest thing. I'm grateful for the water. I'm finally feeling clean. I know, you know that everything will be alright. I know, you know that everything will be alright. I know I'm good 'cause everything is getting right. I know, you know that everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. I said everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
All right. So, wow, Brandyn, that was an awesome song. Can where can we hear that? Where can we get that right now?
Yeah. So that is a song called Clean. I have a side project called Emanate. It's my middle name, and it's like more of my gospel hip hop influenced music. It's online on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and it was actually one of the last songs I did like right before COVID happened. I had the opportunity to go in the studio with an amazing choir. A bunch of singers from Kanye West's Sunday Service Choir came to sing backup, and we built it from the ground up. And it was kind of one of those records where COVID happened right after it, and
this song is about, everything being all right. And it was kind of like my mantra for that entire period. The world shut down, couldn't see your friends, it was a scary time. And it was kind of like that song that I kept going back to that just reminded me that, things are tough, but, your grass stays green if you keep a positive mindset, and that it'll all work out at the end of the day.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. Great message and an awesome song. Thank you so much. Now, best place to keep track of you going forward. I know you're working on something. I don't want to leak anything, but where can we keep track of you in the best way possible to make sure that we're not missing out on any new music that you're dropping?
Yeah, for sure. So since I've been in the Web3 space, I've used Twitter way more than any other platform. So Twitter is a great place. It's just at Emanate. That's E-man with the number 8 at the end of it. I'm also on Instagram at Brandyn, spelled with a Y instead of an O. And yeah, I mean, Spotify, I'm in the Web2 game as well. So like Spotify is a great place to keep up to date on releases. If you hit that follow button on Spotify, I am working on a project right now. I just wrapped it up. It's my first official album. It's about 10 tracks. And it's, classic album vibes. It's got interludes, intros. The art of the album has kind of died in recent years with just streaming taking over, but I wanted to make a project that was conceptual and also, an experience for the listener. I think that's something that excites me about Web3 is, it's all about creating an experience for the participants. So yeah, I'm really excited about the album. It's very alternative. I kind of connected with my roots growing up in the 90s, 2000s era of music where it's a lot of organic, but I'm also rapping a bit on it. And, it's just a lot of energy and can't wait to put it out. So yeah, stay up to date with me on Twitter, Instagram, hit that follow on Spotify, and you'll be first to hear the new project when it drops.
Awesome. Well, guys, you heard it here. Be sure to give him a follow, eman8 on Twitter and at Brandyn at Instagram. And be sure to give the man a follow on Spotify. You'd have no idea how helpful that is to the artist to grow that platform. It's basically just a newsletter of music, and you get to follow who you want to keep tabs on. So be sure to check him out. Once again, give it up for Brandyn. Thanks for being here. What a legend. And we hope to have you back sometime.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, that was a great show. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to the team, John, Juan, Carl, booking mad talents for these 2 shows to kick off season 1. Appreciate all of you. Be sure to get plugged in. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and listen to the high fidelity versions of the show. A little bit more to offer than what we have currently in our live shows. And if you leave a comment, just know that we're going to be pulling you into the show either in the form of a shout out or bringing you on for a game to actually be in an episode. So stay tuned. Shout out to Bloodskeet for, being in there, being involved, and tagging all kinds of people on social media. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next Thursday. But till then, be sure to plug in to another great podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Conan O'Brien. It is a great listen, and we'll see you next week. Hit it, Juan.
That was the official stuff.